You woke in the dark with your heart still running, certain that something had just happened to you. It was not a story your mind was telling. It was a whole world your mind had built. Sights, weight, sound, and feeling. So complete that, for a moment, your body could not tell it from the room around you. Here is the part that stays with people. The alarm you felt was never pretend. The same signal that rises when danger is real had already risen inside you, in the dark, before you could wake enough to correct it. Welcome to sleepy science. So let the sheets grow warm again, and let your shoulders come down from where the dream left them. There is nothing here to escape now, only something gentle to understand. A mind that builds so vividly because it was shaped to keep you safe. Feel the mattress take your weight. Let the held breath go long and slow. Let the next one arrive on its own, while we begin. Tonight, a single question travels with us into the dark. Why can a nightmare feel so completely real that your body answers it as though the danger was standing in the room? Most of what you dream unfolds during a stage called REM sleep, named for the rapid eye movements that flicker beneath your closed lids. In this stage, your brain is not resting quietly. It is building. With no light entering your eyes and no sound reaching your ears, it assembles a whole world from the inside, and then it sets you down in the middle of it. We will follow that world, slowly and gently, all the way to its softest edge. Nightmares tend to arrive in the last hours before morning, and there is a simple reason for their timing. Across the night, sleep moves in cycles of roughly 90 minutes, and each time you return to REM, that stage lasts a little longer than the one before. Your first REM period may run only a few minutes. The ones near dawn can stretch to half an hour or more. So the richest, longest dreaming happens when you are closest to waking. That is why an unsettling dream so often greets you in the pale grey light. Still vivid, still clinging, just before the alarm would have gone off anyway. If you could watch a sleeping brain during REM, you might be surprised by how awake it looks. Measured by its use of oxygen and glucose, the dreaming brain burns energy at nearly the same rate as a brain that is wide awake and thinking. Some regions, especially those that handle emotion and vivid imagery, run even hotter than they do by day. This is one quiet clue to the whole mystery. A nightmare does not feel real because your mind is dim and confused. It feels real because your mind is fully lit, working at full power, simply pointed inward instead of out at the world. In waking life, your senses are fed by the world. Light lands on the eye, sound presses on the ear, and the brain interprets what arrives. In a dream, that stream from outside goes quiet, yet the experience does not stop. Instead, the brain becomes its own source. It generates the sights, the sounds, the ground beneath your feet, drawing on memory, expectation, and feeling to paint a scene without a single photon from the room. This is why a dream can feel seamless. There is no gap where the outside world would normally be, because the brain has quietly stepped in to supply everything that world usually does. A nightmare is rarely a silent picture. It is a full sensory event. People report color and motion, voices and footsteps, the pull of gravity, the temperature of a room, even the strange logic of touch. Studies that wake volunteers from REM find that most dreams carry sound, many carry movement, and a fair number carry bodily sensation. Your sleeping mind, it turns out, does not sketch the world in outline. It renders it. And when every sense is engaged at once, the experience gains the same thickness that real life has. So the part of you that judges what is real finds very little missing to give the dream away. When you picture something with your eyes closed while awake, a band of tissue near the back of your brain, the visual association cortex, gently stirs. During a dream, that same region becomes strongly active, generating imagery that can feel as detailed as anything you see by daylight. Interestingly, the primary area that first receives light from the eyes stays quieter, since no light is arriving. The vivid scenery of a dream is built one step downstream, in the regions that give images their shape and meaning. Your sleeping brain is, in a sense, screening a film for an audience of one, using the same theatre it uses to see. Here is a quiet truth that helps explain the whole feeling of realness. Your brain does not have a separate department for real sights and imagined ones. It uses much of the same machinery for both. When it summons an image from within, it lights up circuits that overlap with the ones used to perceive that image from without. By day, other signals usually tag the difference, so you know a memory from a view. But in REM, with those checking signals turned low, an internally made image can wear the same badge of reality that a true perception wears. The dream is not lying to you. Your brain simply cannot easily tell the copy from the original. The emotions inside a nightmare are not performances. They are the genuine article. Deep in the brain sit small, almond-shaped clusters called the amygdala, which help register feeling, especially fear and alarm. During REM, these regions are among the most active in the entire sleeping brain. So when a dream turns uneasy, real emotional circuitry is firing, releasing the same inner weather you would feel awake. This is why you can wake with a pounding chest from something that never happened. The event was imagined, but the feeling was fully real, produced by the same structures that carry fear across your waking days. It helps to name what a nightmare actually is. Sleep scientists describe it as a vivid, emotionally distressing dream, usually rich in story, that most often takes place in REM sleep and frequently wakes the sleeper, who can then recall it clearly. That last detail sets it apart from a night terror, which erupts from deeper, dreamless sleep, leaves little memory, and belongs more to early childhood. A nightmare, by contrast, is a lucidly remembered story that unsettled you. Naming it gently is its own small comfort. What visited you was not a haunting. It was a recognized, well-studied feature of the ordinary sleeping mind. If nightmares have found you, you are in wide company. Occasional bad dreams are one of the most common of all human experiences. Surveys suggest that most adults have at least a few nightmares a year, and many have them monthly, especially during stretches of stress or change. Only a small share of people, a few in 100, have them often enough and distressingly enough to be called a nightmare disorder. For nearly everyone else, the unsettling dream is simply part of the standard equipment of sleep. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you are a dreaming creature, like the rest of us. The vividness of a dream is partly a matter of chemistry. During REM, the brain floods itself with a messenger molecule called acetylcholine, which switches on the cortex and drives the rich, moving imagery you experience. It is the same chemical that helps you attend and perceive by day, now turned toward the inner screen. This chemical surge is one reason dream scenery feels so crisp and alive rather than vague. The brush that paints your waking perceptions is the very brush painting the dream. So when a nightmare seems almost too detailed to be imaginary, that detail is not an illusion of memory. It was rendered in real time by a brain running its perception system in full. While one chemical rises in REM, two others quietly step back. The brain's supplies of norepinephrine and serotonin, messengers that by day keep you alert, self-aware, and grounded, fall to their lowest levels of the entire 24 hours. This retreat matters for how a dream feels. Those two chemicals help you reflect, question, and hold a steady sense of what is likely. With them dialed down, the dreaming mind loses much of its inner skeptic. Whatever the scene presents, you tend to accept. So a nightmare feels real, in part because the very circuits that would whisper this cannot be happening have gone softly, temporarily quiet. Put those two chemical changes together and a picture forms. The painter, acetylcholine, is working at full strength, while the editor, the alerting chemicals that check the work, has stepped out of the room. The result is imagery that is both vivid and unquestioned. This particular balance appears almost nowhere else in your day. It is the signature state of dreaming, and it is why dreams carry their peculiar mix of intensity and acceptance. The feeling of a nightmare being undeniably real is not a flaw in your mind. It is the natural outcome of a brain painting boldly while its usual proofreader rests. One of the strangest features of a nightmare is that, while inside it, you rarely suspect it is a dream. The regions that support self-reflection and step-back judgment, gathered largely in the front of the brain, run at reduced power during REM. Without their steady commentary, you simply take the dream at face value, moment to moment, however unlikely its events. This is not weakness or gullibility. It is the ordinary shape of the dreaming brain, and it explains why the alarm feels so complete. To wonder whether something is real, you first have to be able to wonder, and in a nightmare, that gentle capacity has quietly gone offline. Even as your inner world blazes, a gate at the center of your brain keeps the outer world at bay. A relay station called the thalamus, which by day passes sensations up to the cortex, shifts during REM so that outside signals are largely held back while inside ones flow freely. Your body lies in a quiet room, but your mind does not receive the quiet. It receives the dream. This gating is part of why a nightmare can feel so enclosing. So total. There is no draft of cool reality leaking in to remind you where you truly are. For that stretch of sleep, the built world is the only world admitted. Notice that in a nightmare, you are almost never a distant viewer. You are inside it, at its center, seeing through your own eyes, moving your own limbs, addressed by name. Dreams are built in the first person, wrapped around a self that feels continuous with the one reading these words. This immersion is a large part of their power. A story told about someone else keeps a safe distance. A story happening to you closes that distance completely. Your sleeping brain does not narrate the nightmare from the outside. It places you at the very heart of it, which is exactly where fear lands hardest and feels most true. The you inside a dream feels like the same you who lay down to sleep. Your memories, your relationships, your sense of what matters, all travel with you into the scene, giving it the texture of your own life rather than a stranger's. This continuity of identity is quietly remarkable. Even when the dream world bends and shifts, the dreamer at its center stays recognizably yourself. And because it is happening to the person you most believe in, its stakes feel personal and real. A threat to a character is fiction. A threat to you, wearing your own history, is felt as something that genuinely concerns you, even in sleep. In many nightmares, the feeling comes first and the story follows. Because the emotional centers are so active in REM, a wave of unease can rise before there is any scene to explain it. And the dreaming mind, ever the storyteller, builds images to fit the feeling. A sense of dread arrives, and a pursuer appears to justify it. This may be why nightmares so often circle the same emotional notes: being chased, falling, losing someone, arriving unprepared. The mind is not choosing a plot at random. It is composing a scene around an emotion already playing, giving shape to a mood that was there before the pictures came. The world of a dream is stitched together from real thread. Your sleeping brain draws on fragments of memory, faces you have seen, rooms you have walked, worries you have carried, and weaves them into new arrangements. Researchers even notice a gentle delay, with some elements of waking life resurfacing in dreams a few nights later, as if the mind returns to them on its own schedule. Because the raw material is genuine, the finished scene feels authentic, even when its combinations are impossible. A nightmare rarely invents from nothing. It recombines the true pieces of your days, which is part of why it can feel less like fantasy and more like memory. Nightmares tend to unfold in places and among people you know. The house is often your house, or a blend of homes you have lived in. The faces are family, friends, half-remembered strangers. This familiarity is part of what makes the dream persuasive. When the setting is recognizable, the mind extends it the same trust it gives to real, known places, and stops checking whether the walls make sense. Your brain is efficient. Rather than build every scene from scratch, it borrows the furniture of your life. And a threat set in a familiar hallway feels far closer to home than one staged in an unknown land ever could. While the dream plays, your body listens. Signals from the emotional brain travel outward to the systems that manage heartbeat and breath, so a nightmare can quicken your pulse, speed your breathing, and raise a faint sheen of sweat, even before you wake. This is why you can surface from a bad dream already braced, chest rising, as though you had truly run or hidden. The reaction is genuine because the alarm that triggered it is genuine. Your body cannot see the dream to judge it. It simply answers the emotional brain's call. We will return to this quiet conversation between mind and body, gently, a little further on. Inside a dream, time and space feel ordinary, even when they are anything but. A nightmare can seem to last for ages or compress a long ordeal into a moment. Yet, while you are in it, the flow feels natural. Distances stretch, rooms rearrange, and the dreaming mind accepts each shift without protest. Because the machinery that would flag the impossibility is resting. This seamless acceptance is central to the feeling of realness. You do not experience a dream as a series of edits and cuts. You experience it as a continuous present, one moment leading to the next, which is precisely how real life feels from the inside. Perhaps the gentlest proof that the dreaming mind suspends its judgment is how calmly it accepts the impossible. A door opens onto the sea. A lost friend speaks again. You can read a page that keeps changing. Awake. Any of these would stop you. Asleep. They pass almost unremarked, folded into the story as if they belonged. This easy acceptance is not carelessness. It is the natural state of a brain whose skeptical circuits are quiet. And it means that when something in a nightmare turns unsettling, there is no inner voice ready to say, "Surely not." The scene simply is, and so its fear simply is. 2. This capacity is with us early. Children dream from their youngest years, and they tend to have nightmares more often than adults do, with unsettling dreams peaking somewhere between the ages of about 3 and 10. A child's growing brain is busy sorting a world that is still largely new, and its dreams reflect that work, sometimes turning the day's small fears into vivid night scenes. That we build immersive dream worlds so young suggests this is no accident of adulthood. It is a deep and early feature of the human mind, a way of rehearsing and processing experience that begins almost as soon as experience does. A pattern is quietly forming from everything so far. A nightmare is not a recording your brain plays back in the dark. It is a world your brain builds fresh, in full sensory detail, using genuine emotion and true memory, at a moment when its inner skeptic has gently stepped aside. So the question we began with begins to turn. Perhaps a nightmare does not merely seem real. Perhaps, to the brain that makes it, there is little difference between seeming and being. What remains to understand is how such a private, invisible world can reach so far into the body. And that is where the next stretch begins. You've stayed with these first facts as your breathing has slowly lengthened. And that steadiness matters. A soft subscribe helps another restless mind find this quiet shelter too. Now, let's settle here together, one sleepy soul at a time. The pounding heart you just heard about, the one that answers a dream before you wake, has a slower rhythm beneath it. And yours is finding that rhythm now. The alarm system we described is real, but so is its resting state. And your body has been drifting toward it since you lay down. The question that just opened, about how a hidden world reaches the body, is not abstract. You can feel its answer in your own chest, in the pulse that softens even as we speak of fear. Notice the weight of your hands. Notice the breath moving without your effort. What follows traces the path from the dreaming mind outward, into the body that has already begun to rest. At the heart of the realness sits the amygdala, that pair of small almond-shaped centers deep in the brain. Brain imaging studies of REM sleep show them running unusually warm, sometimes more active than in waking life. The amygdala helps color experience with emotion and is especially tuned to threat and alarm. When it fires during a dream, it lends the scene a charge of urgency that feels entirely genuine. This is a large part of the answer we are following. A nightmare feels real in the body because the body's own alarm center is switched on, doing in the dark exactly what it does when facing something real. The amygdala has a gift for speed. It can register a hint of threat and set off a response before the slower, thinking parts of the brain have finished making sense of the scene. Scientists sometimes call this the fast, low road of fear, a shortcut that once helped our ancestors react to danger in an instant. In a dream, that same shortcut runs freely. Alarm can arrive fully formed, ahead of any explanation, which is why a nightmare's dread often feels like it comes from nowhere and everywhere at once. The feeling does not wait for the story. It leads it. The amygdala does more than sound alarms. It also helps mark which memories matter. Experiences wrapped in strong emotion are tagged for keeping, stamped as worth remembering. During REM, as this center hums and memories are gently sorted, the dreaming mind can pull on emotionally charged fragments and weave them into the scene. This is one reason a nightmare can feel so personally aimed, as though it knows exactly where you are tender. It is drawing on the very memories your brain flagged as meaningful, giving the dream a private accuracy that a random invention could never have. When a dream shows you a face or a long hallway, it is not using a separate, lesser set of tools. The sensory maps of the cortex, the same regions that handle real sights, sounds, and touch, become active during REM and do the rendering. So the dreamed hallway is drawn on the very canvas your waking sight would use. This overlap is quietly central to the mystery. Your brain is not imagining the scene in some faint, second-hand way. It is perceiving it with the machinery of perception, which is why the experience carries the full texture and presence of something truly seen. Something curious happens to movement in a dream. When you dream of running or reaching, the motor cortex, the strip of brain that plans and commands your muscles, actually fires, sending out the signals for those very actions. The commands are stopped before they reach the body, yet they are genuinely issued. So the sense of effort, of legs pushing or an arm swinging, is not invented after the fact. It is built from real motor instructions, felt from the inside. Your dreaming self moves with the authentic feeling of movement, because the brain is truly trying to move, even as the body stays still. Because those movement signals are real. The actions in a nightmare feel embodied rather than watched. When you flee in a dream, some part of you feels the running in your muscles' intentions, the strain, the reaching, the near misses. This is why dreamed effort can be exhausting and dreamed escape can feel so close and so blocked. The brain is generating the experience of a moving body from the inside out, and an experience assembled from genuine motor commands, genuine emotion, and genuine sensory imagery is, to the mind having it, nearly indistinguishable from the real thing it so faithfully imitates. Deep in the folds of the brain lies the insula, a region that maps the state of your own body, your heartbeat, your breath, the tightening in your chest. It helps you feel that you are here, inside yourself. During emotional dreaming, the insula participates, translating the alarm above into a felt sense of bodily presence. This is part of why a nightmare does not stay in the head. It becomes a whole body event, a felt condition rather than a distant picture. The brain is not only showing you a threat, it is giving you the inner sensation of a body responding to one. Now we can trace how the dream reaches the body. When the emotional brain sounds its alarm, it signals the autonomic nervous system, the network that quietly runs your heart, lungs, and glands without your thinking. The branch that readies you for action can stir, nudging the heart to beat faster, the breath to quicken, the skin to dampen. All of this can begin while you are still asleep, still inside the scene. The nightmare, though made of nothing but brain activity, borrows the body's real machinery of arousal, and the body, unable to see the dream, simply does as it is asked. Along with the quickened pulse comes a gentle rise in the body's arousal chemistry, the same mild stress response that prepares you to meet a challenge by day. It is modest and passing, not harmful, but it is real. And it is why you can wake from a nightmare feeling as though your body has already been somewhere. The dream did not merely frighten an idea of you. It briefly recruited the living systems that carry you through waking effort. Understanding this can itself be calming. What you feel on waking is not lingering danger. It is a body slowly setting down, a call it answered in good faith. This rising arousal helps explain why nightmares so often wake you. As the emotional and bodily response builds, it can nudge the brain across the threshold from sleep toward waking, pulling you up and out of the scene. In a sense, waking is the mind's release valve. The very intensity that makes a nightmare feel real is also what ends it, lifting you into the safety of your own dark room. So the jolt of waking, unpleasant as it is also a kind of rescue, a built-in door that opens precisely when the dream has grown too vivid to hold. In the first moments after a nightmare, your body is still wearing the dream. The heart has not yet slowed. The breath is still high. The alarm chemistry is still clearing. This is why the fear feels so convincing even after your eyes are open and you can see there is no threat. Your thinking mind knows you are safe, but your body is a few steps behind, finishing the response it began in sleep. Those minutes of settling are not a sign that the danger was real. They are simply the body catching up to a truth the room has already told it. Return for a moment to the missing editor. By day, a region behind your forehead, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, weighs evidence, checks plausibility, and keeps your sense of reality in order. Through much of REM, it runs quiet. Without its steady oversight, the dream unfolds unchecked, its impossibilities unquestioned, its alarms unchallenged. This is the reduced reality checking at the center of our story. A nightmare feels real not only because the brain builds it so vividly, but because the very part of you that could say, "Wait, this cannot be happening," has gently powered down for the night. The emotions a nightmare uses are often borrowed from real life. A worry carried through the day, a grief not fully spoken, an old fear half forgotten. These can surface as the feeling tone of a dream, then gather images around themselves. Because the emotion is one you have truly felt, the dream built upon it inherits that authenticity. This is why nightmares can seem to know your private aches. They are not reading your mind so much as reusing its genuine emotional material, giving shape to feelings that were already yours, in a theater where those feelings can finally be seen. Sometimes the outside world slips quietly in. A distant siren, a cold draft, a phone's buzz, the pressure of a blanket. Any of these can be caught by the dreaming brain and folded seamlessly into the story, becoming a bell in a tower or a chill wind across a field. This gentle weaving of real sensation into the dream adds another layer of realness, since part of the scene is, in fact, being drawn from something true in the room. The mind is a graceful improviser. Rather than let a stray signal wake you, it writes that signal into the world it is already telling. The evidence has been gathering toward a single, quiet conclusion. A nightmare engages the emotional brain, the sensory maps, the movement system, the body's inner sense, and the machinery of the heart and breath, all at once, while the mind's usual fact-checker rests. It is not a thin picture playing behind your eyes. It is a full simulation, run on the very systems you use to live your waking life. So the realness is no illusion to be corrected. It is the honest signature of a brain doing, in the dark, exactly what it evolved to do so well by day. Something has loosened since we began. The breath a little longer now. The thoughts drifting a little farther apart. There is nothing here that needs solving. No scene to escape and no watch to keep. Let one slow breath leave you completely, and feel how the body, left alone, knows how to settle. We are moving through the science of the sleeping mind together, unhurried, in no particular rush to arrive. Let's keep going, slowly. While the dreaming mind races, the body is quietly held still. During REM, the brain gently switches off most of the muscles of movement. A natural stillness that keeps you from acting out the scenes you dream. It is a protective design, letting the mind run freely while the body rests safe in the bed. For our story, this stillness matters in one simple way. With the body held quiet, there is no motion to break the spell, no stumble to remind you where you are. The dream keeps its floor beneath you, undisturbed, and so its world stays whole. This pairing, a vivid mind inside a still body, may deepen how real a nightmare feels. All the energy of the scene, the alarm, the effort, the urgency, has nowhere outward to go, so it turns inward and is felt all the more. You cannot run it off or shake it loose. You can only experience it. In waking fear, action offers a release. In a dream, that release is gently withheld, and the feeling concentrates. The stillness of the body, meant to protect you, has the quiet side effect of pressing the whole experience further in, where it lands with unusual force. Why do we have unsettling dreams at all? One long-discussed idea, proposed by the researcher Revonsuo, suggests that dreaming may act as a kind of nighttime rehearsal, letting the mind practice noticing and escaping threats in a safe arena. It is a thoughtful hypothesis, and it remains debated rather than settled. Scientists continue to weigh the evidence for and against it. We can hold it gently, as one possible thread, even without a final verdict on why. What we can say with more confidence is how a nightmare is built, and that building is enough to explain the depth of its realness. Another gentle idea concerns feeling rather than threat. Some researchers propose that dreaming, and REM sleep more broadly, may help the mind sort and soften the emotions of waking life, turning down the sharpness of a hard day overnight. In this view, a nightmare might be that process meeting something large, an emotion still too strong to fully settle. The idea is promising but not fully proven, so we hold it lightly. Still, it offers a kinder frame. The difficult dream may not be malfunction at all, but the mind at work on feelings that are simply asking for more time. Dreams tend to follow the shape of your days. Researchers describe a continuity between waking life and dream life, in which the people, places, and concerns that occupy you while awake reappear, transformed, in your dreams. So, a stretch of worry or upheaval often leaves its mark on the night. This is a comforting thing to understand. Your nightmares are not arriving from some foreign darkness. They are made from your own life, reflecting what you have been carrying, which means they can be listened to gently, the way you might listen to any part of yourself that has something it wants to say. Not everyone dreams with the same intensity. People differ in how vivid and emotionally rich their dreams tend to be, and some minds seem to keep thinner walls between thought, feeling, and imagination, giving their dreams a heightened realness. This is simply a variation in temperament, not a flaw. If your nightmares feel especially detailed or affecting, it may reflect a sensitive, imaginative mind, the same quality that lets you be moved by music or lost in a story. The depth of your dreaming and the depth of your waking feeling often come, quietly, from the very same source. Nightmares tend to gather during seasons of stress. When life grows uncertain, when you are grieving, adjusting, or carrying more than usual, the odds of unsettling dreams rise. The sleeping brain, sorting a fuller and heavier load, has more difficult material to work with, and some of it surfaces as vivid night scenes. Seen this way, a spell of bad dreams can be a quiet signal, a sign that your inner life is busy processing something real. It is worth meeting with patience rather than alarm. The dreams will usually ease as the waking weight they reflect begins, slowly, to lift. Sometimes a nightmare returns, wearing the same shape again and again. Recurring nightmares are often tied to an unresolved stress or a difficult experience the mind keeps revisiting, as though circling something it has not yet been able to set down. In their most intense form, after trauma, dreams can replay pieces of what happened with painful fidelity. This repetition is not the mind tormenting itself. It is the mind returning to unfinished emotional work, knocking again at a door it hopes to open. And there are gentle, well-studied ways to help such dreams soften, which the night itself sometimes begins on its own. Why would the same dream come back? One way to understand it is that a strong emotional memory, not yet fully processed, keeps its charge, and each night the sorting mind encounters it again and again, until the feeling underneath finds some resolution. The dream has reason to return. This is why recurring nightmares often change or fade once the waking situation shifts or the emotion is finally met and understood. The dream is faithful to the feeling. When the feeling eases, the dream, having done its circling, tends to quietly let go and stop coming back for you in the dark. Notice how the question has turned. We began by asking why a nightmare feels so real, and we have found a clear answer in the brain that builds it. But a deeper question now opens beneath the first. If the mind goes to such lengths, engaging emotion, sense, memory, and body, to make these night scenes so convincing, perhaps their realness is not an accident to be explained away, but something the mind intends. The tension we carry into the second half is this. What if a nightmare feels real because, for the work it is doing, it needs to? You just heard the question turn from how a dream fools the body to what its realness might be for. And something in you may lean toward that quietly. Perhaps there is a dream that has returned to you more than once, a feeling that keeps circling in the dark. Notice, without reaching for it, where that sits in your body right now, and let it be softened rather than solved. There is nothing to resolve tonight. The second half moves further into this, not to explain the fear away, but to understand why a caring mind would build it so vividly. Feel your jaw loosen. Feel the breath find its own slow floor. And let us go on. Consider what the realness accomplishes. A forgettable dream would teach the mind nothing. A vivid one, felt in the body, is marked as worth keeping and returning to. The intensity that makes a nightmare hard to shake is also what makes it memorable. And memory is where the mind does much of its quiet learning. So the very quality we would like to switch off may be the reason the dream can serve any purpose at all. A mind returns to what it has felt most strongly, and a nightmare is nothing if not strongly felt. The brain tends to those memories most heavily wrapped in feeling. Through the night, and especially in REM, emotionally charged experiences are revisited and gradually filed, their sharp edges slowly worn smoother. A nightmare can be part of this tending, the mind handling difficult material by turning it over in the dark. This is a hopeful way to see a hard dream. It may be the sign of a mind at work rather than a mind in distress, sorting what the day left unsorted, and doing so with the same care it gives to every memory it decides is worth the keeping. There is a reason we speak of sleeping on a problem. A night of rest often leaves a worry feeling a little smaller by morning, its grip loosened, its shape clearer. Researchers link this softening in part to REM sleep, the same stage where dreams and nightmares live. So even a dream that unsettles you may belong to a process that, overnights, helps you carry things more lightly. The morning relief you have surely felt at some point is not imaginary. It is the quiet result of a mind that keeps working gently on your behalf while you sleep. Some researchers wonder whether difficult dreams let us rehearse, in safety, the very things that trouble us, meeting a fear in a place where nothing can truly reach us. The idea is not fully settled, so we hold it softly. Yet there is something reassuring in the possibility. It would mean the nightmare is not an enemy, but a kind of practice ground, a kind of quiet drill run by a mind that would rather you meet a hard feeling here, in the dark and at no real cost, than face it wholly unprepared in the light. Whatever its purpose, a dream is the safest possible place to feel afraid. No harm can cross from the dream into the room. The cliff cannot drop you. The pursuer cannot reach you. The body lies quiet and unhurt the entire time. This is worth holding on to in the moments after waking. However real the fear felt, it happened inside a sealed and gentle chamber, one that lets you feel the full weight of an emotion while keeping every part of you completely safe. The dream borrowed your body's alarm, but it never once borrowed any true danger. A feeling met in safety can slowly lose some of its power. When you experience fear and nothing bad follows, the mind gradually learns that the signal need not always be obeyed. Something like this may unfold across dreams, a fear rehearsed and survived, again and again, until it weighs a little less. Researchers are still mapping how far this reaches, so we hold it gently. But it fits a pattern the waking mind knows well. What we can face, even in imagination, tends to frighten us less, and the dream offers a place to face things at no cost at all. This is why, for dreams that trouble people often, one of the kindest and best supported approaches is simply to reimagine them. In a gentle practice called imagery rehearsal, a person revisits a recurring nightmare while awake and softly rewrites its ending into something calmer, then pictures the new version by day. Over time, the dreams themselves often ease. It is a quiet reminder that these night scenes are not fixed. They are made by a mind that can also be gently taught, and the dreaming brain, it turns out, listens to the stories we choose to tell it while awake. Sometimes, inside a dream, a small clarity arrives, and you realize you are dreaming. This is called lucid dreaming, and in that moment, the fear can loosen its hold, since you know the walls are made of mind. Some people learn to steady themselves this way, or even to change the dream's course from within. It does not happen for everyone, and it need not. But it reveals something freeing. The same brain that built the unsettling world also holds, somewhere, the knowledge that it is only a world it built, waiting quietly to be remembered. Even without that clarity, waking teaches the body the truth. The moment you open your eyes to the still, safe room, a correction begins. The heart slows, the breath eases, and the body learns, once again, that the alarm was answered and nothing came. Each safe waking is a small lesson in reassurance, gently written into you. Over time, these lessons accumulate, and the body grows a little more practiced at returning to calm. The nightmare may feel like a rupture, but the settling that follows is its own quiet repair, restoring you fully to the peace of your own bed. A nightmare shows, more vividly than almost anything, that mind and body are a single, woven thing. A thought with no substance sets a real heart racing. An imagined scene draws real breath and real sweat. There is no clean line where the mental ends and the physical begins. This is not a fragile truth, but a beautiful one. It means the gentleness you offer your mind. A slow breath, a kuntvord, a settling thought, reaches the body just as surely, which is why calm, once you find it, can spread through all of you at once. Because mind and body answer each other. What you tell yourself on waking carries real weight. A quiet, "It was only a dream," and "I am safe here" is not empty comfort. It is a message the body can feel, helping the alarm chemistry clear a little faster. You are not obliged to analyze the dream at 3 in the morning. You are allowed to simply reassure yourself and let the settling come. The same link that let a thought frighten you can let a gentler thought unwind that fright, guiding you softly back toward the sleep you were resting in. Humans have always dreamed in the dark. Across every culture and every age we can study, people have described vivid, unsettling night visions, and have gathered to wonder what they mean. This long, shared history is quietly comforting. Your nightmares place you in the oldest of human company, alongside countless others who woke in the night with a pounding heart and slowly remembered where they were. The experience is not a private affliction, but a universal thread. One of the deep, common features that has run through the sleeping minds of our kind for as long as there have been minds to sleep. Older ages often read nightmares as omens, spirits, or messages sent from beyond. Today we understand them more calmly as the natural work of the sleeping brain, made of your own memory and feeling rather than any outside hand. This gentler explanation takes nothing away from their meaning. It simply moves the source inward, to you. There is no visitor to fear in the dark, no sign to dread by morning. There is only a mind, your own, doing in the night what minds have always done, and doing it, in its way, on your behalf. If a nightmare carries meaning, it is personal meaning, not prophecy. Its images are your mind's private symbols, shaped from your life, not glimpses of what is to come. A dream of falling foretells no fall. A dream of loss predicts nothing. It reflects a feeling, not a future. Understanding this can lift a quiet weight, freeing you from any sense that the dream was a warning to be decoded in fear. It was a mirror, held up in the dark, showing you something you already carry, softly and only for you, and never a map of days ahead. Meaning in a dream is something you make, not something delivered to you. You are free to turn a nightmare over gently by day, to ask what feeling it might be holding, or simply to let it dissolve and move on. Neither choice is wrong. The dream has no authority over you that you do not grant it. This is a quietly freeing thought to carry into sleep. Whatever the night builds, you remain its reader in the morning, able to hold it lightly, to learn from it if you wish, or to set it kindly down. There is a strange honesty in a nightmare. It shows you, without flattery or disguise, what you have been feeling underneath, the fears and aches the busy day kept covered. It is not cruelty, it is candor. The mind, freed at night from its usual composure, lets the real weather show. And there can be relief in that. To have a feeling finally take a shape, even a difficult one, is to be able to see it and what we can see, we can begin to tend. The dream withholds nothing, and in its way, that is a kind of care. The mind's quiet processing goes on even through the hardest dreams. A difficult night is not lost time or wasted rest. It is often the sound of inner work being done, of feelings being handled, memories being filed, weight being slowly redistributed. You wake having traveled through something, even if you cannot name it. This reframing can soften the dread of sleep that nightmares sometimes leave. The dark hours are not out to harm you. They are, more often, laboring gently on your behalf, tending the parts of you that the daylight never has time to reach. By morning, distance arrives on its own. The dream that gripped you so completely begins to thin and fade, its urgency draining, until it feels like a story you were told rather than a place you were. The body, meanwhile, has fully reset. The heart long since slowed. The alarm long since cleared. This natural fading is a mercy built into the mind. You are not made to carry each night's fear into the day. The morning quietly lifts it from you, loosening its hold hour by hour, until you can hardly recall why it seemed so real at all. Most dreams are forgotten almost as they end, slipping away before you can hold them. Far from a failing, this gentle forgetting is a kindness. If every dream stayed, the mind would be crowded with impossible scenes and needless fears. Instead, the night writes lightly, in disappearing ink, keeping only what matters and releasing the rest by dawn. So even a vivid nightmare is usually destined to dissolve, its grip loosening on its own. The forgetting is not a loss. It is the mind clearing its desk before morning, leaving you free to begin the day unburdened. After a nightmare wakes you, sleep does not abandon you. Given a little calm, you drift back down, often into the deeper, dreamless stages where the body does its heaviest repair. The night is long, and one difficult dream is rarely its final word. There is more rest waiting past the disturbance, quieter water beyond the brief rough patch. Knowing this can ease the moment of waking. You have not been cast out of sleep for good. You have only surfaced for a breath, and the depths are still there, still open, ready to receive you again when you are ready. For all their intensity, nightmares take up very little of the night. The great majority of your sleep is calm, much of it without any remembered dream at all, and even your REM periods are mostly untroubled. A single vivid nightmare can color your memory of the whole night. Yet it was a brief passage through many peaceful hours. Holding this proportion in mind can be steadying. The dark is not one long ordeal punctuated by relief. It is long stretches of quiet rest, crossed now and then by a dream that, however loud, was only a small part of the whole. Through every moment of the dream, you were safe in your bed. The room stayed still. The door stayed closed. The night held you gently the entire time. However far the nightmare seemed to carry you, you never actually left the soft, ordinary safety of where you lay. This is perhaps the simplest truth to return to when a dream has shaken you. Your body did not move. Your home did not change. Nothing reached across from that world into this one. You were here, resting, the whole time. And you are here, resting, still, seen whole. The realness of a nightmare begins to look less like cruelty and more like care. Your brain did not build that vivid world to torment you. It built it out of the same deep systems that watch for your safety and tend your feelings. Systems that simply do their work as thoroughly in the dark as in the light. The intensity was never malice. It was the honest strength of a mind fully engaged on your behalf, unable to be vivid about your safety without also being vivid, sometimes, about your fears. There is something quietly moving in a mind that can build an entire world to protect you. To feel a nightmare so completely is to be reminded of how richly you are made to feel anything at all. How fully your brain can render love, wonder, and beauty, using the very same power that renders fear. The depth of the dark dream is the depth of your capacity for experience itself. You are not fragile for feeling it so strongly. You are wondrously, thoroughly alive, equipped with a mind that holds nothing back in its care for you. Here, then, is what the night has been showing, piece by piece. A nightmare feels real because your brain, working out of care rather than cruelty, builds a full and living world using the very systems that keep you alive by day. Its emotion, its senses, its memory, its body, all engaged at once while its inner skeptic rests. The realness is not a trick to be exposed. It is the measure of how completely you were made to feel. The same depth that lets joy and love reach you so fully turned, for one night, toward fear. A heaviness may be gathering behind your eyes, and you can let it come. The care we have been describing runs on its own now, needing no effort from you, no attention, no watch kept over it. The idea we slowly circled is settling into place, that the vividness of a nightmare is the vividness of a mind built to feel deeply, the same mind cradling you now. You needn't hold this thought, or any thought. Feel the breath arrive and leave without your help, the body sinking a little further with each one. What we have been reaching toward is very near, and nothing remains for you but to let it arrive. So here is the answer, in its softest form. A nightmare feels real because you are real, and because you were made to feel. The world your mind built in the dark was drawn with the full strength of a living brain. There is nothing broken in that. It is simply what it means to have a mind that can feel deeply. A mind that does not do anything by halves, not even in sleep. The same brush that paints a nightmare paints every sunrise you have loved. Fear and beauty are rendered by the same hand, drawn with the same vivid care. You cannot feel wonder so completely without also being able to feel fear that completely. They come together from one source. And that source, tonight, is beginning to paint something quieter, something soft and dim and kind, just for you. Whatever the dream held, its hour is over now. The fear did its brief work and has already begun to fade. It was never your enemy, only a feeling passing through, using your body's alarm for a moment and then letting it go. You can let it go too. There is nothing left in it to hold, and nothing left in it to fear. The heart that raced inside the dream is slow again, or slowing. The breath that quickened has grown long. The body that braced itself has found, once more, that there was nothing to brace against. Feel it settling now, limb by limb, into the quiet it prefers. This resting is its natural state, and it is returning to it gently, on its own, without any help from you. The very mind that could build so vivid a fear can build an equal calm. It is not only a maker of storms, it is a maker of stillness, of warmth, of the soft grey quiet that comes before sleep. Let it turn its gift that way now. Let it render, in full detail, the safety of this room, the weight of this blanket, the ordinary peace of being here. Every time you have woken from a bad dream and found the room still there, you learned something. You learned that the dark keeps you, that the alarm always passed. That morning always came. Those lessons live in you now, quiet and sure. Tonight is one more of them, gently confirming what the others taught. The night has never once failed to hold you, and it is holding you still. The dream fades, and you remain. This is always the shape of it. The vivid world thins to a wisp and then to nothing, while you, the one who dreamed it, stay whole and here and unharmed. You are the constant. The dreams come and go like weather across a sky, and you are the sky, wide and quiet, untouched by the passing of any single cloud. Nightmares are brief. The peace around them is long. A moment of fear sits inside hours of rest, like a single ripple on a still, dark lake. The ripple spreads and settles, and the water is smooth again. Most of your night has been, and will be, that smoothness. Let your attention rest on the wide calm rather than the ripple, and feel how much of the night is simply quiet. You are in the oldest company tonight. Every person who has ever slept has known a difficult dream, has woken in the dark and slowly remembered where they were, has felt the heart settle and the fear fade. You are not alone in this, and never were. A great, quiet company of sleepers, across all of time, has felt exactly what you feel, and has drifted, as you will now, back down into rest. The night is working for you, even now. In these dark hours, your mind is tending its memories. Your body is mending its small wear, and everything is being quietly set in order for the morning. You do not have to oversee any of it. It happens on its own, as it has every night of your life. Simply rest, and let the night do the gentle work it already knows how to do. A feeling felt fully can be set down fully. The nightmare let you feel something all the way through. And now that it is felt, it can be released. There is no need to carry it further. Like a breath held and finally let go. The fear has served its moment and can leave you completely. Breathe it out. Let the space it occupied fill instead with the soft weight of sleep. The room is quiet. The door is closed. The night outside goes on without needing anything from you. Within these walls there is only the small, safe world of your bed, the hush of your own breathing, the gentle dark. Nothing here asks for your watchfulness. You may lay it down, the last of your guarding, and let yourself be simply held by the ordinary safety all around you. The breath is the bridge back. Whenever a dream has carried you far, the breath is always here, waiting to bring you home. Slow and steady, it leads you back into your body, back into the room, back into the present, quiet moment. You do not have to follow it with any effort. Just let it move, and let it carry you, as it is carrying you now, softly towards sleep. The heart knows how to slow. You have never once had to teach it. After every fright of your life, it has found its own way back to calm, and it is finding that way now, beat by beat, without instruction. Trust it. Let it do what it has always known how to do. Beneath every passing alarm, its steady, patient rhythm is still there, still keeping its quiet time. The mind knows how to forget. By morning, most of what tonight built will be gone, dissolved without effort, leaving you light. This forgetting is a mercy the mind performs on its own. There is no need to hold the dream, or study it, or keep it safe. You are allowed to let it slip away, as it wishes to, and to wake with your hands and your heart empty and open. There is nothing to solve tonight. No dream to decode. No fear to fix. No work left undone. The only thing before you now is rest. And rest asks nothing of you, but that you allow it. Set down the whole of it, the questions and the wondering, and let the quiet have you. Whatever waits to be tended will still be there, gently, in the morning light, and it can wait. The vividness you felt was, in the end, a gift. It was your aliveness, showing itself. A duller mind would have dreamed a duller dream, and felt a duller life. The same depth that made the nightmare real makes your joys real, your loves real, your quiet mornings real. Hold that softly. What frightened you in the dark is the very thing that lets the whole of your life reach you so fully. You can trust the mind that made the dream. It is the same mind that has carried you safely through every day and every night you have lived. It was not working against you. It was doing, as it always does. Its ceaseless, quiet work of feeling and tending and keeping you. Rest in it now, the way you would rest in the care of someone who has never once stopped watching over you. because it has not. Softness reaches all of you at once. Because mind and body are woven together. The ease you allow into your thoughts flows straight into your muscles, your breath, your slowing heart. One gentle feeling spreads everywhere. So let one gentle feeling in, the simple sense that you are safe and held, and feel it move through the whole of you, loosening, warming, quieting, until there is nothing left in you that is braced. The dark is not against you. It never was. It is the oldest shelter there is, the quiet in which all creatures have always rested, the soft close of every day since the first. Let it be a friend to you now. Let it wrap around you like something kind. There is nothing hidden in it tonight but sleep, waiting patiently to receive you into its deep and gentle keeping. You are held by the bed beneath you, by the room around you, by the night that has never let you fall. You do not have to hold yourself up any longer. Let the whole weight of you be given over to what is already carrying you. There is a great, quiet support beneath this moment, and it asks only that you lean into it and rest. Let the world your mind builds now be a gentle one. It has the power. Let it turn that power toward peace. A soft field, a still shore, a warm and quiet room. Whatever comes, let it be kind. Your brain will render sleep as vividly as it rendered any dream. And the sleep it is rendering now is safe, and deep, and entirely yours. Sleep is near. You can feel it in the heaviness of your limbs, the slowing of your thoughts, the way the words are beginning to blur and drift. There is no threshold to cross, no effort to make. It is already gathering you in. Let the last of your wakefulness loosen and go, and let yourself be lowered, gently, into the rest that is already reaching up to meet you. You are safe. You are whole. You are resting. Nothing about this moment asks anything more of you. The night is quiet. The body is calm. The mind is letting go. Everything is exactly as it is meant to be for sleep to come. And it is coming, softly, from somewhere just beneath you, rising to hold you the way it always has, the way it always will. And so the answer, at the very last, is not a fact about the brain at all. A nightmare feels real because you are a creature who feels wholly and truly awake or asleep. That is not a fragility to fear. It is the tender proof that you are here, alive and deeply feeling. Tonight, you do not have to fear how much you feel. You are allowed, simply, to feel safe. The hour began with a heart still running in the dark, and it ends with that same heart, slow and quiet beneath a resting body. Along the way, we found the warm, busy amygdala lending its alarm to a dreamed world, and the body still wearing that world for a few minutes after waking, faithfully finishing a response. It began in sleep. What started as a question about why a nightmare deceives the body has become an answer about how completely a caring mind can build, and how safely you were held inside it the entire time. The realness was never a flaw to be fixed. It was the depth of a mind made to feel, the same depth that lets love and wonder reach you fully. Turned for one night toward fear, and now turning, softly, back toward peace. Perhaps understanding the science of your own night mind brought a little quiet to the dark. A gentle like, subscribe, or share can carry that same quiet to someone else lying awake with a pounding heart, waiting to understand. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. Somewhere behind your closed eyes, the same brain that built a whole vivid world is now painting something dim and soft and slow, asking nothing of you at all. It renders this quiet the way it rendered everything else, effortlessly, completely, from the inside. Let your whole being dissolve into that gentle painting, into the deep and ordinary safety it is drawing all around you. You were always the one it was caring for, and you are cared for still. You can let these last thoughts fade now, like a dream loosening its hold just before it is forgotten. Let your body grow heavy with the rest it has been waiting for. If sleep comes, let it carry you down into the quiet stages where the mind tends itself and asks nothing of you. The playlist of relaxing dream science has kept many hours of company in this territory. The next hour follows the part of tonight's question, this one left unfinished. The quiet mystery of where the dreaming self goes when the world falls away. That hour is waiting whenever you are ready. But if your eyes are closed, stay there. Rest well, quiet one. The mind that built the night was only ever caring for you, where science becomes the softest place to rest. Good night.